Now, this is where we get to understand what is a cusp. Generally, cusp and house are seen as the same thing, but it is not the same, although it's more synonymous now. Basically, cusp is what is seen as the starting point of a house. It's not the house itself, it is the starting point of a house. Now, in this case, if we look at this is at 194.32 degrees. This is the starting of the first house. So first house starts at 194.32, ends at 223.47. That is what it means. So whatever is between these two is the first house. Second house begins at 223.47, ends at 254.2. So that is the length of the second house, so on and so forth. So if you look at this, 12th house begins at 168.25 and ends at 194.32. Now, as we said earlier, in KP, houses are not equal. Why they are not equal, we'll get to it. But this is the concept. Cusp simply means starting point of a house. So if you go under houses, you can see the same information here. First house starts here, ends at 223.47. Second starts here, ends at 254. Third starts here, ends at 286. So it could be either less than 30 degrees, 30 is very rare, or more than 30 degrees. Why is it that it's not equally divided? In the case of Vedic astrology, we always see Rashi is 30 degrees. House is also 30 degrees for us. But in KP, Rashi is 30 degrees, but houses may or may not be 30 degrees. It could be less or it could be more. Why does it happen that way? Now, on day one, when we were discussing about the introduction of KP, we said Krishnamurti ji took certain concepts from Vedic, certain concepts from Western astrology, and he came up with KP. So this part, which is called the Placidus method of dividing houses, actually comes from Western astrology. That's why houses are not equal, unlike in Vedic astrology. Now, basically, if you look at Earth's orbit around the sun, the natural orbit, you will notice that it's not circular in motion. It is elliptical. You can see here, it's elliptical. So what happens is, if I were to take, if I make a circle, let's assume a pizza, perfectly 360 degrees. If I have to create or make 12 pieces of it, everybody will get the same size of pizza. But if I take an elliptical sized pizza instead of a circular one, and I start dividing, it will never be equal for everyone. So in this case, let's say we take the elliptical orbit, and at the middle of this point, we fold it, meaning one on top of the other. If we fold it, let's assume this is a piece of paper, elliptical paper. I fold it in the middle, so one layer comes on top of the other. Now, if I cut that into 6 pieces, what will happen? So assuming I mark here in the center, I fold this on top of it, and then I cut 1, 2, 3, 6 pieces I cut. What will happen?
But if you fold it, each half is the same as the other, right? And cutting, how are you suggesting the cutting, sir? I didn't get the cutting.
This way. If I cut vertically, okay, first cut, correct, second cut, third, fourth, up to 6 cuts. If I make, what will happen?
The center ones will be longer than the edges, right? So
correct.
The ones that
no, but we will get 6 pairs, meaning 6 into 2, 12 of them. But 2 of them will be of the same size, correct?
Correct.
2 pieces will be of the same.
On each side will be the same size, correct?
Will have the same size. Now let's go back to our houses here. Okay, make a note from 1 to 6. Just read from 1 to 6. This is starting at 194.32, whatever it is. 6th one starts at 348.25. Now let's take the calculator. Notice the seventh one. What is seventh one? 14.32. So if I take 194.32 minus 14.32, what happened? It's exactly 180 degrees apart, correct?
Okay,
Fourth house, seventh house is exactly 180 degrees. Take it for anything. Let's say fifth house. I take fifth house. So from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning 11th house. Fifth house starts at 318.5. This is 138.5. So I subtract this, I will get 180, correct? So you can notice here that two houses will be of the same size. So 2 into 6, that is equal to 12 houses. So whichever house you take, the one opposite will be of the same size. Now let's say, for example, I take the sixth one. This is 348.25. So if I take the 12th one, it is 168.25. So if I subtract 168 from 348, what do I get? 180 degrees. So you can see here that this is how it gets divided. In the sense, if this is at 40 degrees, so this will be at 220 degrees, exactly. So between the one opposite will always be of the same size. So if I take the third house, ninth house will also be the same size. So let's say I take third house, 254, see the ninth one, 74. So 254 minus 74 is 180, exactly 180 degrees apart. And the size of each house will also be the same. So let's see how long is third house. So if I have to see that, I will take 286.33 minus 254.2. What is the length of the third house? 32 degrees, right? Now the same thing, if I were to apply for which one? Between 10 and 9, if I apply, so it's 106.33 minus 74.2. What do I get? Same answer. So the third house and the ninth house will be of the same length, 32.13. You're getting the concept here?
correct. So just one thing,
Yeah.
if I look at it from a diagram point of view, the first one is it the one at the center or is it the one at the ends?
No. That doesn't matter. This is just for reference only.
No, but logically, the one that is at the center is the longer ones as against the ones that are at the ends, right? So
Correct.
So then, even by
For
that
us,
logic, 1 and 7,
uh,
or 6 and 12, if you compare 1 and 6 versus 7 and 12, then we will know whether the first is at the
the
center or not.
longest. No, not necessary. Not necessary, because for us the ascendant is always in the east, the rising. Right? This is the degree. So it doesn't matter. This is just for
the ascendant position can
graphical position.
correct. I understood.
This is only for graphical representation. So
Yes.
It's not equal.
So the ascendant can be actually anywhere in those 12.
Anywhere.
Basically.
If Earth is here, the ascendant degree will be less. But if the Earth is here, the ascendant degree will be different.
Correct. Okay.
So accordingly, it will vary. It's not necessary that it is always the first and the or the first and seventh which are the longest. Not necessary.
Correct. But if I look at it as rising east, and if I plot that as the ascendant, the actual end, the 24th hour, will be the back end, right? So let's take a practical
I
example.
understand. Huh? See, ascendant could be anything at the time of birth, whatever is the ascendant at east. So like, for example, now it is 7 o'clock, right? In Dubai, it's 7 p.m.
Correct.
So if I were to see what is the ascendant, it is Libra.
Correct.
If somebody is born after 2 hours, let's say 9 p.m. or after 9 p.m., it will be Scorpio.
Correct.
So the Earth would have moved, right? It would have changed. So obviously the length will be different. Yeah. But the concept here is it's unequal division of houses. So 6
Correct.
into 2, that is how it will be. This is not there in Vedic. For us in Vedic, it's always 30. That's the reason why planets jump houses in KP. See, for example, here it is in the 4th house in Rashi. But if you actually look at moon, where is moon? Moon is in the 3rd house in Capricorn. That is how you will read this. If you see moon is in the 3rd house in Capricorn. Right? This is the way you need to read the chart. This table is for reference. You can always refer to this. But if you have to just read the chart as it is, now Rahu is in Aries, but which house is it in?
So Rahu is, sorry, can you repeat the question, sir?
Rahu is in
Seventh house.
Aries, but which house is it?
7th.
7th house.
No, it's not 7th.
7th. 1, 2, 3. Rahu is in Aries in the.
It
the
is in
Rashi chart.
Aries, but which house?
It's in
6th
6th
house.
house.
6th house.
8th
6th house. 6th house.
Sixth house. It is in the
Sixth house, correct,
sixth
sir.
house. So if you see here, Rahu is in the 6th house in Aries. So you will have to read both the charts to understand where is the planet, which Rashi is it in, where is it placed. So this you will practice on multiple charts.
Yeah.
Anyway, the information is available here, but you need to know how to read it.